Hey everyone, I'm Nito King, bringing you more Rayman. Today we finally enter Picture City. I know I've been building this world up for a while, saying that this is where the game gets hard. Well, I'll let you guys judge for yourselves. At the very least, we have to stare at some really bad artwork while the level loads. And at least they do give us a full health right above where we started, but to get to it... Bouncing things! I haven't seen these since World 1. Probably a good thing, because I hate them. You gotta be careful not to touch the level entrance, or it'll erase all your progress and kick you back out to the world map. Yeah, I've done that. Plenty of times. But coming up here, we get to see a whole bunch of secret stuff. That timing was more or less coincidental. Most of the time you hit the spikes, but it's okay, because you just got full health. And all that's really down there is a power-up and some few tings. Hey, grappling! We all know how great I am at that. And then, of course, an army of anti-tunes. Still not particularly threatening unless you're not prepared for them. And then we got spikes to make sure I can't go back. And bouncy erasers. Actually, I think all of these ledges are erasers. But the blue speckled ones are particularly bouncy, and they're going to be one of the biggest enemies in this world. If you don't see why yet, just take my word for it. Alright, cage number 1. Very little effort. The hard is coming, although I think in this level, the beginning is pretty much the hardest part. Level 2, the middle is going to be the hardest part, and then level 3, they stuck the hardest part at the end. So, we just grapple to get back. No big deal. Unless you're a complete moron at it like I am. And I'm actually going to be using the run fairly often, because it's now the fastest way to get around. And then we get to the pencils. I hate the pencils. They don't look so bad, but particularly up here, they will dump you into that sea of ink below, and you will not survive. I think this one coming up, you can actually die if you're standing on it at the lowest point. That happened to me once. I didn't realize it was going to happen. I was not happy. And then we just got to stay on these pencils here while taking down all those spikes, and I didn't make it. Take 2. Yeah, I went back to pick up some of the power-ups that I got in the part that you saw. It's handy to have the gold fist, even though there's nothing to fight over here. Pretty sure these bouncing spiked balls are a completely new thing in this level. I've actually got... Well, I guess there were mobile spikes in the Blue Mountains, but here you can actually punch them and make them move as you want them to. Or, more likely, into where you're standing at the time. And now you've got pencils under spikes. Still not too tricky to navigate if the pencils are timed properly. Most of the time they're not, and I think it was kind of a miracle I managed to make it through that in one life. But the miracle's not done yet, because this is why I didn't ride that elevator up before. You need to make that cage appear, and then go back and ride the elevator up to get to it. And I completely botched the timing there. Take 3. And I think if they're not timed properly, you can just leave the screen and go back. The problem is that if they're not timed so that you can use the helicopter to arrive there at the right time, you've just got to make the jump, and it isn't easy at all. Plus, every time you screw up, you got to go back to the checkpoint, which means clearing all the pencils and all the spikes again, just to get to the spot where the cage appears. And it was at this point in the recording that I said, for about the 5th time since I started trying to record this level, if I lose one more life, I'm just gonna scrap the recording. Since you're watching the recording, I think you can probably tell how this part went. I finally made it, and once you're here, you're home free. I mean, yeah, you can still die, but the cage is easy enough to get at this point. No secrets over there. Didn't know if there would be or not. And once you break open the cage, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Even if I lose a life, the cage is still open. But of course I'm going to try not to do that. Getting back down past the elevator is annoying, but not difficult. And the pencils are conveniently timed for once. That's pretty much the end of the first scene. But I noticed there's a sparkle up there, kind of hidden behind the ting meter. I can't jump high enough to get it, but I want it. You don't see a lot of those visible secrets. Although there have been a lot that I kind of missed. And I almost hit the exit. And then I did hit the spikes. Go me! Told you guys not to expect any kind of competence. And I can't even get far enough to grab the 1-up. So I think I just need to change my perspective and run from somewhere lower, and somehow I made it. But what did that do? And then that's when I notice it. My hair has changed color. You get the super helicopter power at the right side of this level. That would have made it a lot easier to get that second cage if I had known. And that's the real reason that I kept this recording, because I would never be able to recapture that moment when I realized what I had done. So we get more of the sine wave pencils, this time at least standing on them at their, what do you call it, the zenith, the bottom point of where their movement is. Doesn't kill you. That's the point. Something in this level doesn't kill you. And they even give you a free health fill-up, even though I don't need it, because there wasn't a whole lot to hurt me in that last level. I need to find a blue elf, and as soon as I get past the pencils, I realize the blue elf is back there. If you're careful, you can just stand between the pencils. I'm never quite that careful. So, time to fill up. And again, we need to get on top of the pencils. There's a bunch of secrets in this level on top of pencils. And grabbing all those tings makes the blue elf appear. So now I can go back and get cage number 3. At the very least, they didn't hide most of the cages very well. You know, we've been through some levels where I couldn't even find all the cages. And we'll get to some more, but in this level they're easy enough to find. I don't know what the heck those guys are, like tigers and monkeys riding on flying frying pans or something. I guess maybe they're flying pans. Yeah, but they'll chase after you a lot of times. And generally the easiest way to deal with them is simply to duck before they get to you. And they fly overhead, and then you can take your time with the rest of it. Sometimes they'll hit you even if you're ducking, but even so, it's probably easier to take the hit than run ahead and get killed by something. Another set of pencils, another secret on top. This is going to become fairly common. It just takes a couple of tries to get the timing right so I can get up there. You can kill those frying pan guys, but it is almost invariably a complete waste of time. So, full health again. Let's move on. And more frying pans. You just have to know they're there and know when to duck. And something appeared behind me. All it is an elevator that can take me backwards in the level. I'm pretty sure there are no secrets that appear as a result. This level, they've got a lot of hidden objects that aren't actually secrets at all. And I really don't know what to think about that. I'd like to say it pisses me off, but that's pretty much just the level design here. And at least they're not secrets that kill you or anything. I guess this part is probably actually easier than it looks. You know, I didn't screw it up, so... You know, there I kind of thought I was going to hit the pencil and take a hit or something. But nope, I made it. That's scene 2, and this is going to be the last area. Yet another one of those tiny gaps. I don't know why they brought the blue elves back for this scene. But there's blue elves everywhere in Picture City like there were in Bandland. And see, you hit one of those guys, he can still hit you, too. I think Picture City is kind of like Bandland Light. It's a lot less slippery, but demands no less precision from everything that you do. And now we get a bunch of spiky balls, plus a normal ball, which I just knocked off the ledge. The good news is the normal ball respawns, the spiky balls don't. So all you gotta do is keep hitting them until all the spiky balls are gone, and the normal one is the only one left. And then we get to one of the more complex secrets in the area. We have to ride back towards the beginning of the level, and there's the blue elf that lets us get through all the tiny passages we saw. Of course, this scene is all about getting shrunk and getting ambushed by anti-tunes. I have a feeling I probably should have seen that one coming. But we can also now fit through this gap way back to the beginning and get back to the start of the level for no reason. There's no practical purpose to doing that whatsoever, as far as I know. So I'm taking a couple of hits, but I don't really care because there's full health right there. Now I care. And I still get hit. But that's alright, we're finally moving on. Need to be small so I can fit through the gap, and the secret is you need to get big again as soon as you jump up onto the ledge. Being big makes most of the rest of this part so much easier, and the hardest part so much harder. Bounce on the bouncy eraser, cause an elevator to appear. Use the elevator to knock down a ball, and then use the ball to get to the cage. I really like this one. You got a lot of parts that actually fit together really well. One more cage to go. And for that one, we simply need to progress in the level big, which is harder than it sounds. This is the one level where being big is actually a detriment, because as you see, we have to bounce under these spikes. I made that look easy. It is not. And if you thought that was bad, if you had trouble with this part when you're playing this level, or if you can't seem to figure out how to jump over spikes, then you're going to hate the next level. Now I need to get up onto the ledge where that full health is, and it takes me a while. I make very few claims to being at all good at this game, and this is the kind of thing that I'm usually talking about. Alright, I finally made it. There's a little mini arrow of tings there, and when you grab it, that causes cage number 6 to appear. Meaning that as soon as I finish this level, I never have to do it again. And that is a greater bonus than pretty much anything else having to do with the game. So I figured I'd come down here and show you guys what's here. Full health. I picked it up because I wasn't really thinking. And now all these spikes appear and I just have to get rid of them so that I can get back up onto the ledge because I can't quite jump high enough. And the trick is, you've got to make those spikes go all the way to the left, because if you accidentally hit the normal wall, you don't want to have to extract it from a giant pack of spiked balls that are bouncing in the same spot. Now here I'm trying to get rid of the last spiked ball when I realize I've got clearance so I can make it through. And now I've just got to make my way back past the spikes. my timing is really off, and I figure I'll just take the hits and go. I have no idea why I took that hit, nor do I have any idea why I decided I needed to go further to the left, when all I needed to do was get shrunk and head back to the right. So let's zip back through here and recover as many power-ups as I can. It usually takes me a while to get past most of this stuff, but the good news is I didn't have to do it too many times this recording. Should probably have gone back there and gotten that speed power-up, but what you gonna do? It's not like I really need all that much speed. So the only way to progress in this level, actually, is to go through this area small. And as you'll see, there are some tricky moments to it, but it does make getting past the spikes considerably easier if you don't completely screw it up like I do. You're so much smaller that there's plenty of time to make it past before you hit the eraser and get bounced back up again. And of course, I am in desperate need of extra health here, so can't jump high enough to get to that one. Gotta go for the one past the spikes. I don't know why I do this to myself. And I know why it happens, but I don't know why I put myself in these situations. And now I gotta deal with the spikes again. Good aim is essential here. And this is why I continue to hit them back to the left twice, so that if I do accidentally hit the normal ball, I can just go over there and knock it back to the right without too much trouble, but I manage not to hit it even once. And this is the part, obviously, where you need to be small to get through. Just fight your way past a couple of really easy anti-tunes. There's not much threatening about this part, although you do have to duck, even though you're small, to get past these pencils. And that ting is a trap. I actually got hit by that anti-tune the first time. I don't know what that says about me. So now we get about the biggest annoyance in the whole level. The other parts were hard. This isn't really hard, it's just annoying. Here you go in, you can punch once and then walk backwards, and the lightning isn't going to be much of a threat. But if you get really impatient and do stuff like just stand there and keep punching, you're going to take a lot of hits. And at this point I notice the Ting Magician is down there. I've got just enough Tings to play his game once. And if I manage to win, I'll get full health. So let's see what he's got in store for me this time. It's actually a very interesting level, a kind of obstacle course, hurdles and stuff, where you have to run most of the time, but that also means that you're going to have to double back to grab some of the tings if you miss your jumps, or if they just tuck them into corners like that. And getting hung up on the environment is pretty bad, but this late in the game they actually give you plenty of time to get through most of these areas. As you see, even as much as I screwed up, I still made it with a couple seconds to spare. That may actually be my favorite one out of all the Ting Magician games. And now all the spikes are gone and I can just move on. More sine wave pencils. There's probably a secret up there, but we're not done yet. More doubling back. Because we've still got to shrink. And I went to try to get up on top of those pencils a couple tries. Didn't make it. Figured I'd just give up and move on, because it can't be that important. I've already got all the cages. And we're done. That's, at least, the repeatable part of the level. But we still have to fight the boss. Or rather, our first encounter with the boss. In most of the other levels, we've had an encounter where the boss chases us, and that'll continue to be the case, except here, where we've got to fight the boss on her own terms. So you got to fight a couple of pirates here. And what I really wanted to do is show off that pirate's ring attack, which is basically Ringman's boomerang from Mega Man 4. If you catch him over at the right side of the screen and just start punching him, he never gets a chance to do anything. And now you got to deal with a bomb-throwing pirate in the crow's nest. Mostly easy enough patterns to dodge. Sometimes he just screws with you. But I think if you're standing over to the right, that makes things easier. You just have to not let him land on you when he falls down. And same deal, punch him to death. And here we have the actual boss. It's Helga from Clay Fighter. And daggers with springs in the handles. Yes, they will hurt you as they're bouncing off screen. You have to continue to dodge them. And then we've got this attack. Very simple to dodge. Simply stand under each dagger so that it goes straight down, and is very easy to get past them. Now, I believe this is actually Space Mama, except instead of being in her astronaut costume, she's in some kind of Viking outfit. I don't know what the deal is with that. But you get to see her pattern and how to fight her, and this actually has nothing to do with the encounter with her 2 levels later. Kinda disturbing. But you just keep bouncing up, smacking her in the head, and don't take any hits, at least if you're down to 1 hit point like I am, or you'll have to repeat the whole thing over from the pirates on the ship. I'm proud to say this particular pattern never caught me off guard, even the first time that I fought against her. I don't know whether I remembered that was coming from some dim corner of my memory of years past, or if it was just natural to duck so I could crawl under the daggers. Once you realize what they're about to do, it's not too hard to dodge them. I don't think you can jump on top of the daggers as they're falling down there and try to smack her in the head, but you really don't need to. Just wait for her to spit a bunch of them out like that, and I don't know what happened there, but I took her down. She flies away and returns to fight another day, and I finally get to move on from Eraser Plains. I wish that were a good thing. I wish I could say I'm happy about that, but no, because next time we get to do Pencil Pentathlon. This level is the bane of my existence. And it'll be the bane of yours too if you have to play this game. See you next time.